All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, Dav, on my series of videos talking about my Canadian immigration experience from Jamaica in 2016 and how I became a permanent resident in 2018. So, in the last video, I spoke of the first steps in setting up your profile for your permanent residence application on the CIC website. All right. So I made mention that I had to do the English test, which is very important. As an international person applying for a PR, you may be required to do your English test. All right. So I did that and I created my profile. Now, in a previous video, I had made mention that for my school, I was requested to submit a equivalency qualification document. So the World Education Sector or Services, I think WES, was the organization that I used to do my equivalency check. So they're checking to see if my Jamaican qualification matches their or what level of it what level it is in Canada. So I did that, but I did it for school. So in February, when I got my invitation to apply, it happened so quickly, guys. So I submitted in January. I redid my profile in January 2018, and in February 2018, I got my invitation to apply. I was picked in the pool with a score, I think, of maybe 456, something thereabouts. And I don't know what the system is now. So we can always double check on the CIC website to see what the CRS score is for you to get an invitation to apply for permanent residence. When I submitted that, shortly after, the immigration sent me an email to say that my West that I submit, let's call it my West, my equivalency, my qualification equivalency document that I had sent in was not sufficient in the sense that I had done it for education purposes and not for immigration purposes. So this time around, I had to resubmit it, but it wasn't hard to do because I only needed West to revise the document and send it straight to immigration on my behalf. So I didn't have to now go apply for it and for it to take that long time that it did when I was originally doing it in Jamaica. So within a couple of days, Wes reached out to me and let me know that they sent it to immigration on my behalf. So that was like quick stick for me. All right. And usually when you get your invitation to apply, in that time in 2018, they provided you with a 90-day window by which to submit your documents. Now, remember, I said to you before, unless you are asked for something, especially if you have to pay for it, wait. Wait until you are asked before you go pay your money and supply it. I know some things might seem like they're all going to be required and stuff. I know the one mandatory thing is your English test because you need it to create your profile. But when you create your profile and get an invitation to apply, immigration will send you an extensive list of documents that they require from you for your application. So this is where you're not going to work with what I was requested with or what somebody else was requested. Sorry, what was requested by or from me or from somebody else. You have to wait until immigration says, for you, I want you to submit XYZ documents, right? And they give you a 90-day window. Now, I'm not a last minute person, so I try to get everything done within a 60-day period. I was going for 2 months, not three, right? And I think I heard since then that it probably has changed to to 2 months. So you guys have to, once they tell you, try to get it right as quickly as possible. Pay for the express them all over the world to get whatever you need. It's gonna benefit you. All right. So I had to submit my proof of relationship. So I have an aunt that I was putting on my application. So I had to prove my relationship to her. I had to prove my funds, because you still need to prove that you have money to sustain yourself if you're going to be living in the country. And that's one of the reasons why I kept my part-time job, because I wanted to have money. And I had mentioned a little bit earlier in one of the videos that you need to learn to live within your means. And that's one of the things. Like, I'm not your parent, but it's one of the best advice I can give to anyone, because you're gonna need money. And whereas in Jamaica, it was easy for me to get people to lend me the money for a little while to put on the thing. I didn't know that I had that available to me. I mean, I'm in a new place, and even though, yes, I have relatives, I never wanted to put that burden on them. But I want to take this time to shout out to my supervisor at the time for my day job where I was working. She came through and she lent me um a sum of money that was really like good. So they wanted me, I think at the time, to show $12,000, and I ended up showing $16,000. And of that amount, it was 10,000 of it was my money that I had saved from my job, my day job, because I just used my part-time job to like take care of myself, paying my bills and making sure I have grocery and clothing and whatever, and still living within my means, right? So I had to prove relationship, I had to prove qualifications, I had to prove um finances, and um criminal activity as well, which is very interesting to know, because I had to provide a police report back home from Jamaica. Got that done. You know, it's easy to like notarize a document to ask somebody in Jamaica to work on your behalf. So all those different things you can have access to here, but remember you have to wait to be told, right? And when I submitted my documents now in April, so I had until May to submit my documents, but I submitted them in April. And so I think about May, thereabout, they had sent back, or April, late April, early May, they had sent back to say to me that my name came up as a criminal something that they're concerned about, which was very um frightening to me again, because I have such a unique name. And I'm like, if you're gonna use my name and my birthday, why would you see that? But anyways, I followed the instructions as to what to do, and that's one of the things, they will guide you as to what to do. So I had to do, I think it's called a RCMP check through the police here, and some fingerprinting stuff. And I got back the result that my name wasn't associated with any criminal activity, I had to send that to immigration as well. So that was May. And in July of 2018, my passport was requested. Now, in between all of this, I had some other travels that I needed to do. I needed to travel in July and August. July to the US and August to Jamaica. And I was now applying for a visitor's visa, because without being a PR, I wouldn't have access to come back into the country, just mainly on a work permit. So I was trying to do that application online as well. Ran into some difficulties because, as I said, when you're filling out forms on CIC, if you're not careful, you end up filling out the wrong thing. So that's a different story in and of itself, though. But just to say, I got a request for my passport like in less than 2 months after submitting the last thing that immigration had asked me for. So that was May 2018 that I submitted the very last thing that they asked me for. And by July 2018, they asked me for my passport. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened when they asked me for my passport in the next video, and give you now the process to actually receiving my PR. So thank you again for joining me in the series of videos, and I'll see you again for the next one. And remember, if it's good for you, share it with somebody else that it might be good for. All right? Thank you.